Wow. Had no idea about all of this. Um, it's time we start to take this stuff seriously. Like, really. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. My GRSR family. Get ready. Stay ready. How's it going? Um, First of all, welcome back. Second of all, if you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. All comments are welcome as long as it's tasteful and respectful. Okay, so let's get right into it. You know how I like to do. There's been so many things. If you've really been paying attention, there's been many reports talking about the end of this year, 2022, and going into 2023 next year, how things are going to be. Some people say it's going to be a lot worse in 2023 um, as far as shortages than it is now this year. So I saw this article and I thought it may help some people out. Hopefully it does. I haven't read the entire article yet. So look like there are certain things that I'm going to be seeing for the first time along with you all. So we can look at this thing together and see if there's something we didn't know or see if this just kind of confirms what we've already known. So before I get into it, like I said, please like the video and let's get into it. I saw this article here. It's on this website I visit, shtfplan.com. I'm looking at it here and I'm like, wow, the picture's a little fuzzy, but my apologies on that. But that's not the most important thing. You know, I'm looking at the photo here and the most important thing they want you to see on this photo are the empty shelves, not necessarily the people in the background. But it said a list of 33 things we know about the coming food shortages. Let's take a look at it. Says the article, who was originally published by Michael Snyder at the Economic Collapse blog, goes on to say things are far worse than you are being told. Over the past few months, I have been carefully documenting facts that show that global food production is going to be way down in 2022. Unfortunately, most people out there don't seem to understand that the food isn't being grown in 2022 won't be on our shelves in 2023. So yeah, that's generally how that works. I mean, you may not necessarily see it hitting the shelves right now, but things that aren't being grown this year, obviously they won't be on the shelves in next year, in 2023. Uh, we are potentially facing an absolutely unprecedented worldwide food crisis next year, but the vast majority of the population doesn't seem to be alarmed about this. So I would encourage you to help me get this warning out by sharing this list with as many people as you possibly can. As you will see below, we now have so many data points that it is impossible to deny what is coming. The following is a list of 33 things we know about the coming food shortages. So before I go on to the next thing, start the list of 33 things. Please share this with as many people as possible. Um, like I said, there's always a chance that this is fear tactics, but there's also I would say just as much of a chance that this is legit. So shares share this with as many people as possible. So let's get into this list here. Let's see what it says. Let's see. Number one, the hard red winter wheat crop in the United States this year was the smallest since 1963. But in 1963, there were only 182 million people living in this nation. Today, our population growth has grown to 329 million. So, wow, a little bit more than half the people that we have now was around in 1963 when when the hard red winter wheat cropping happened last in 1963. Wow, that's so you have almost twice as many people than you had in 1963. That's crazy. So that right there by itself should let you know something. Also says that it is being projected that the rice harvest in California will be half of what it would be in a normal year. And rice is one of those things that people, I don't know too many people who don't eat or buy rice. It's also one of the things too that most people use. Preppers get to store in jars or however you want to store it, but it's one of those things that get stored a lot. So I would say make sure you have plenty of it. Number three, the U.S. tomato harvest will come in at just 10.5 million tons in 2022. That's over a million tons lower than a normal year. So shortage in U.S. tomatoes. Four, this will be the worst U.S. corn harvest in the last decade. So less corn than they've seen in 10 years. Number five, year-to-date shipments of carrots in the United States are down 45%. Wow. Year-to-date shipments down almost half of what they normally are. Number six, year-to-date shipments of sweet corn in the United States are down 20%. So everything right now that we depend on, that we see in the store daily, that we take for granted, corn, carrots, tomatoes, rice, wheat. I mean, all of these things are at a low right now. At a low. Number seven, uh, year-to-date shipments of sweet potatoes in the United States are down 13%. Year-to-date shipments of celery in the United States are down 11%. Total peach production in the U.S. is down 15% from last year. Almost three-fourths of all U.S. farmers say that this year's drought is hurting their harvest. Yeah, I've seen that a lot. I know Fox News had I think maybe CNN had it too. One of the farmers on there. I think he represents some type of black farmers organization or something. He was on, and he was talking about how everything's they're hurting this year. They're hurting bad. So this, if this is legit, I mean, it kind of confirms what he was saying. Thanks to the endless drought, number 11, the total number of cattle in Oregon is down 41%. So there go your meat production right there. Part of your meat production, your beef production. Number 12, thanks to the endless drought, the total number of cattle in New Mexico is down 43%. So almost half the cattle production in New Mexico is down. Think about that. 41% in Oregon, 43% in New Mexico. It's a lot of beef. That's a lot of beef that people aren't going to get. So your hamburgers and your steaks or whatever, hey, you may not be able to eat as many of those as you would like to in 2023. Number 13, thanks to the endless drought, the total number of cattle in Texas is down 50%. And being in Texas, I know there are usually a lot of cattle in Texas. Like even in the big cities, you see cattle. It's not just a rural thing. Even in the urban areas, you see cattle. So to say that that's down 50%, that's huge. Like I said, seeing what I see, knowing some of the people who are basically cattle is their business. That's huge. Uh, Number 14, one beef producer in Oklahoma is now predicting that ground beef could eventually top $50 per pound. That is crazy. Now, the average beef, the ones I buy, usually in the store in those rolls, maybe like at HEB or Kroger or whatever, those are usually like what, 5 pounds? I know there's a 3 pound one, but there's also a 5 pound one. So think about that. Think about that. If you have a 5 pound one, that's $50 per pound. So one of those 5 pound packs could be what, if my math is right, $250. That's crazy. You better get your beef and store it right now. Number 15, at least 40% of the United States have been suffering from drought conditions for 101 consecutive weeks. That's a long time. Number 16, overall, this is the worst multi-year mega drought in the United States in 1,200 years. Number 17, Europe is currently experiencing the worst drought that it has seen in 500 years. In some parts of Central Europe, river levels have fallen so low that hunger stones are being revealed for the first time in centuries. Number 18, corn production for the entire EU could be down by as much as 1/5 in 2022. Man, Number 19, we are being warned that there will be crop losses in France of up to 35%. So it's not just the United States, it's other countries too. And of course, a lot of the foods we get are imported from other countries, as you know. It has been number 20. It is being projected that crop losses in some areas of the UK could be as high as 50%. So half the crops in the UK possibly lost. Number 21. It is being reported that there will be crop losses of up to 50% in some parts of Germany. Once again, 50% Germany. Number 22. Some farmers in Italy have already lost up to 80% of their harvest. That's dang near all your harvest. When you start talking about 80, 85%, that's dang near all your harvest. Lost, Italy. Number 23, agricultural production in Somalia will be down about 80% this year. Once again, that's almost all the agricultural production in Somalia. Number 24, in Eastern Africa, the endless drought has already resulted in the deaths of at least 7 million animals. That is insane. 7 million animals. I think you know how I feel about it. I think we need to be a praying nation right now, praying people right now, regardless of what nation you're from. If you're watching this video, definitely need to start praying. You didn't trust God before. It's time to start trusting Him now. Number 25, in China, they are facing the worst drought that they have. I hear my phone goes off. I don't know, I'm not for sure what the heck that is, but in China, they are facing the worst drought that they have ever experienced in recorded history. Wow, that is mm. Number 26, Indiana normally accounts for 40% of the global rice trade. India, 40%? That's quite a bit. India normally accounts for 40% of the global rice trade, but we are being warned that production is in that country will be way down in 2022 due to considerable rainfall deficits in key rice producing states. Number 27, a third of the entire nation of Pakistan was underwater after recent floods absolutely devastated that nation, and agriculture areas were hit particularly hard. As a result, the vast majority of the crops in the country have been washed away. It also says it has been estimated that roughly 65% of the country's food basket, particularly crops like rice, cotton, wheat, and onion, have been washed away. Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, in an interview to CGTN earlier this week, offered an even starker outlook by saying that about 80 to 90% of the country's crops have been damaged by floods. Number 28, the prices of some fertilizers have tripled since 2021. Yeah, I mean this is not the first article we've heard about the prices of fertilizers jumping, like skyrocketing, huge. So according to this one here, some prices of fertilizers have tripled since 2021. So in a year, while the prices of some other fertilizers have actually quadrupled. Wow. See, before I even read the rest of that, I'm thinking tripled. That's a lot. But then it goes on to say quadrupled. Number 29, one payment company is reporting that the number of Americans using their app to take out short-term loans for groceries has risen by 95%. That is crazy. One payment company reporting that the number of Americans using their app to take out short-term loans for groceries have risen by 95%. Number 30, demand at U.S. food banks is now even worse than it was during the height of the COVID pandemic. This is mm. Like I said, some of these I don't know if this is how accurate this is, but I would tell you this, and I still have three more to read before we get through the complete the 33. But even if just half of this list is legit, that's not good. We take for granted all these things every day, the corn and the cotton and the beans and rice and wheat, whatever, just always assuming it's going to be there. But, from the way it's looking right now, we may not have access to much of it as we're used to. So definitely want to make sure you're getting as much as you can. Okay, number 30, actually 31. Uh, the World Health Organization is telling us that millions of people in Africa are now potentially facing a very real possibility of starving to death. Wow. 32, according to the World Food Program, 828 million people around the world go to bed hungry each night. Needless to say, that number will soon be much higher. Number 33, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has publicly stated that he believes that it is likely that there will be multiple famines in 2023. So, according to the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, he didn't just say a famine in 2023. According to him, multiple famines in 2023. So, regardless if you want to take his word or not, I say with food, obviously, you never want to take a chance. You never want to think that, oh, it's just something they're fear factor. But by the time you realize it's real and it's happening, it may be too late. So I think we all need to jump ahead of this and do what we can to get what we can now and help others out too. It also goes on to say here the risk of civil unrest has surged this year in more than half of the world's countries, signaling a coming period of heightened global instability fueled by inflation, war, and shortages of essentials. A new analysis says, according to Verisk Maplecroft, a UK-based risk consulting and intelligence firm, 101 of the 198 countries tracked on its civil unrest index saw an increase in the risk of civil unrest between the second and third quarters of this year. In recent weeks, we have seen absolutely massive protests in cities all over the planet, but conditions aren't even that bad yet. Now, that last statement right there, conditions aren't even that bad yet, and people are protesting. There's civil unrest. So, if conditions aren't that bad and people are already protesting, what's going to happen if it gets worse? I always say three things you need. You need prayer, you need food, and you need a reliable way to defend and protect yourself. Because when people start basically starving, they panic. Desperate people do desperate things. No one will have any problem busting down your door, kicking down your door, trying to take what you have. If it gets that bad, if it gets as bad as this article says. And I'll make sure I leave a link to the article below. But don't take a chance with this, people. Do not take a chance with this, my people, my brothers and sisters out there. Do what you can, form a community. One thing that I know it's been said many times, but older people used to always say, many hands make light work. And that is ever so true, especially right now. But what do you all think about this list here? Do you think it's a scare tactic? Do you think it's a legitimate list? And if so, what do you plan to do about it? Please like, share, subscribe if you like this type of content. Please comment. And as always, get ready, stay ready. God bless.